What conspiracy theory do you believe to be true? What evidence led you to this conclusion? The stories about Dunskneder. Watching some clips of shows he produces is downright creepy. The tweets of his actress's feet don't help his cause. That Reddit mobile is purposely broken to make you download the app. Edit. I forgot to include my proof. Basically, when I started using Reddit roughly 5 or so years ago it worked fine. Now every other page loads as page not found. Frickin' GIFcat makes to go to their website just to view a 5-second GIF. Plus to top it off they keep pushing the app on me that I already downloaded but refuse to use. It works terribly. I hit radio coordinates. Commercials breaks to all take place simultaneously, so you're forced to listen to ads even you change the station. They're practically a monopoly in my area, and I notice it happens to me all the time. The Wheeler incident. I got to collect a bunch of Geiger counter data from a CubeSat a couple years ago and picked up a serious radiation spike over this random island. Googled the coordinates, and it turns out to be a potential secret Israeli South African nuclear testing site. Edit. Okay, so it's been pointed out that the sensor I used probably can't pick anything up like old nuke radiation. I dug up the file and mapped it using Power BI, and it looks like I was picking up a larger trend. Regular old atmosphere stuff. Maybe? Is it good evidence? Apparently not. But it's my evidence, goddammit. The first radiation spike I saw in the CSV was in the general region, so that's how I learned about the Wheeler incident in the first place. Here's the file, if anybody is interested just for fun. It has magnetic, and acceleration data plus a few others. It was collected over 24 hours in LEO as a way to test out which sensors would collect the best data for an educational satellite project I was trying to launch at my community college. This is more of a personal conspiracy. I've been working as an American healthcare consultant for 2 years now, and I genuinely think that insurance companies are purposely denying claims so that they can leverage $ for their beneficiaries' medical records. For example, one of my clients, a huge and important hospital system, had to deal with hundreds of thousands of dollars of medical claim denials because Humana suddenly decided it didn't believe any of those hospital stays were legitimate. They basically told my client to either fax hundreds of medical records or accept the zero pays. It's really suspicious and unfortunate. But when they have the money, what can you do? Area 51 is not a place for secret government/military testing with aliens and stuff. Instead, Area 51 is a scapegoat, while shady behind the scenes stuff is going on at another military base that the general public doesn't know about. I mean, if you were really going to do something in secrecy, would you do it in the place where everyone thinks it is? Hell no. I don't have any specific evidence to back this up, but it makes sense, right? Disney made Zootopia, partly to replace the Song of the South characters from Splash Mountain. Splash Mountain is really the only thing that still exists in the public eye from Song of the South, along with the song Zip-a-Dee-Doo-Dah, since Disney wants to pretend that movie doesn't exist. So they created a movie featuring Fox and Rabbit characters that could replace Brer Fox and Brer Rabbit, and retheme the entire ride to be Zootopia themed, while leaving some things, like the name, and the songs featured in the ride, from Song in the South. There's also that Disney loves retheming things to their hype now, getting rid of Maelstrom, and bringing in a Frozen themed ride, so it would make sense for them to retheme Ride to a successful recent movie than keep a ride based off an old, mildly racist movie they are trying to forget. I'm starting to think that the really stupid conspiracy theories, vaccines causing autism, flat earth, lizard people, etc., are intentionally spread by propaganda groups and troll farms. They don't care what stupid shit you believe, but they are very interested to know that you're a gullible mark who will believe anything with no evidence and won't do research with authorities on the matter to find the truth. If you want to spread misinformation, look for the people who do it as a hobby. Our apartment building has windows that are nearly impossible to affix a screen to. Same goes for the sliding doors. The power is centralized and locked into a certain expensive power company. I believe the developer and power company conspired to make people living in the apartments use the aircon more by making it hard to keep windows open without dozens of mosquitoes coming inside. Edit. People are asking about my language. I'm Australian. Thanks to draconian Aussie renting laws, I'm pretty limited in which modifications I can do. The news report about beards containing more bacteria than a dog that just licked his own arsehole. Beards are messing with facial recognition software. The man wants beards to not be trendy anymore. Used to live in a small town in South Dakota and I'm convinced there is something in the food/water there to keep people there. Impartially convinced it's actually the Dairy Queen causing this, because for a town of 7,000, this place is always so busy and somehow, every year for the past 11 years, the entire length of this competition sells the most blizzards on Miracle Treat Day. A town of 7,000 outsells every other Dairy Queen. There's also some other things, in that the town has a significant amount of people all with very similar disabilities to their left legs. I honestly am just glad I'm out of that town before it sucked me in. But how the hell does that small ass town sell 40,000 blizzards in a day? I don't necessarily believe this, but I've always speculated that a lot of priceless artwork and historical documents are actually replicas or copies. Obviously a painting by a world famous artist using a very specific technique would be very hard to fake, and I don't think that every art scholar in the world is paid off in some grand conspiracy. Rather, I just think that either the national treasures never left their vaults, or that some national treasures actually were lost to history, but they were copied. I feel like drugs like cocaine being cut with fentanyl. No dealer who wants to keep making money is going to cut their blow with fent. It seemed like drugs are being intercepted, cut with dangerous shit, and then sent back out. Evidence, they already did the same thing during alcohol prohibition. The people doing it are convinced they are doing society a favor. Banks and landowners conspire to manipulate urban land prices. Turn an area into a ghetto by marking it as a high-risk loan proposition, denying loans in the area. Property values plummet on a downtown area because no one can sell, because no one can get a loan. Once things are down enough, you can buy up prime location land at pennies on the dollar, then redevelop it into being worth the real market value of such a central location, plus what you invested in the actual development. When Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, was at Harvard, he participated in a brutal psychological experiment led by Professor Henry Murray. The experiment lasted for 3 years, and by many accounts they seemed to have an extreme impact on Kaczynski's psyche. I think this experiment was part of the CIA's Culture project and destabilized Kaczynski enough to where he eventually went on his reign of terror of sending bombed packages around the country. During the Culture project, the CIA collaborated with university professors on these mind control experiments, but a lot of the documentation was destroyed. When people started to look into it, the Unabomber participated in an experiment that was a part of the Culture project that eventually led to him becoming a mass murderer. All my devices listen in on me. The other day I was arguing with my dad about some chicken I thought had gone off. It was frozen for about a month, so we weren't too sure, but my dad was insistent that it was still edible. Dad decided to ask Google, and lo and behold the related searches even from the first letter were, is chicken edible after being frozen for a month, and how long can you freeze chicken before it goes off? Also, my mum and I use this tactic where, if we need to ring up a company about something, and it puts us in a queue, we swear at it. It then puts you on a priority list and you don't have to wait as long. Kinda sketchy on the company's behalf. One my mom shared recently while watching Hangar 1, one of those UFO shows, that the US government is behind all of the UFO sightings and abductions. She believes that the US government uses UFO abductions as a cover-up to perform medical experimentation that would otherwise be undoable due to other government agencies' regulations. The evidence was that before laparoscopic surgery became a widespread thing, that a common occurrence in alien abductions was getting probed through the stomach/belly button, and after it became a widespread thing the belly button probing stopped happening. She also explains that the reason UFOs are only chased by military aircraft and not attacked/shot down for being in restricted airspaces, that the government are testing new top secret military aircraft and are seeing how it compares in terms of mobility and evasion in comparison to current gen military aircraft. This is also why most of these UFO sightings and chases take place over or near Air Force installations. Chemtrails. Regular planes don't leave trails that last for hours on end. Watch an airport, and they appear more when stable weather is around to change it. There is also video evidence around that shows the moment when the switch is flipped. 1 second there is no trail behind the plane mid-flight, then the next second there is nothing but exhaust coming from the plane. I'm somewhat passive about it at this point. Not much that can be done about it with both corporations and government agencies having their fingers in it all. We are being depopulated. From plasma donation and fluoridated infant water. Do infants have teeth? Nope. To literally all packaged food containing poisons. Poisons on the crops. All water is contaminated, including fresh water. We are forced into a labor system where the few suckle off the masses. Where the blood is sucked from poor homeless and turned into medicine for the rich. Where the I/my conspiracy, Google it, trend has turned us into robots whose ultimate goal is getting likes on Instagram. We kill unborn children and save the whales whilst simultaneously destroying everything. I believe that we are born with an ultimate goal of death. It's actually the purpose of life. Those who get it succeed. Those who don't fail. The huge push for vaccines right now isn't about herd immunity or any threat of infection to vaccinated people, or old people, or immune deficient people, from unvaccinated people. It's about the problem of having a large group of unvaccinated people, whose health histories can be easily compared to vaccinated people in a study, should someone find the funding, and put the effort into doing. Pharma fears a direct comparison between the two populations. The proof is in the huge mainstream media push using highly emotional talking points, while not providing any actual real data to support vaccines. Conspiracy. My local Jimmy John's waits until they have 3 to 4 orders to deliver before they bring me my fucking sandwich. Evidence. Where's my fucking sandwich?